Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Tasha Salinas, and today, for today's curious conversation, curious question, we're going to be talking about paying attention. Someone asked me, like, okay, so how do we create the life of our dreams? You keep talking about that, and it seems like, like, oh, we can live the life of our dreams. No, really. What is the cost of living the life of our dreams? What are you prepared to pay? So, what we're talking about here is consciousness. And that's my gifting. The reason that I'm here, the reason why I speak, the reason why I just sit here every week in front of this microphone or in front of this camera, in front of my laptop, is because I've been called. My reason for being, at least in this moment, in this understanding that I have of my life purpose, is to simply communicate the information that comes through me. I've allowed healing to happen to where this fire got lit inside of me. And suddenly there's many things that I understand and I don't really know why I understand, but I've been told that we all have these gifts. And if you're watching this, you're starting to come into your gifts because there's something that brought you here. And so back to the life of our dreams and paying attention. What are you prepared to pay? Where is your focus? If you want to create the life of your dreams, first of all, we need to stop and recognize what's going on in our life. Where are we allowing our focus to be held? Are we focused on the things in the news? Are we focused on the suffering in the world? Are we focusing on the lack that we may feel in our abundance or lack thereof? Not having love? What are you paying your focus to? Where are you paying your focus? Energy goes where attention goes. And since we are all beings of consciousness, if you're a human and you're perceiving this message and these words that are coming out of my mouth, you have focus and attention. And when we look and we give our focus to something, I've got a window over here. I'm always looking out the window. But as I look and I give my attention and my focus, that's what becomes my reality. I just diverted this conversation to talk about the window, and you pictured there was a window. So, what are you paying attention to? Now, if you're able to maybe metaphorically close your eyes to what you're looking at outside of yourself, perhaps that's where you begin to hear yourself for the first time, and the second time, and the third time. And sooner or later, you will find that that's where God meets you. That's where spirit meets you. That's where the divine meets you. That's where your higher self, whatever you believe this universe, this divine thing is accessed when we go inside. That's our consciousness. The illusion of this matrix reality is that all of this stuff that we see outside of ourselves is a projection of our consciousness, of our belief of it. So let's go back to the lack, the sensation of lack. If that's where our focus is, I need. My love, the only thing needed in that moment is more faith. You sitting in a place of neediness will manifest more things to need. Those in lack manifest lack because they identify as being in lack. Those who identify with abundance have an abundance of ideas, of thoughts, of actions that they take. They are extremely creative. Those that align with understanding that you inherently are a divine being. You are the expression. There is nobody on earth who has ever or can ever be who you are. And just really quickly to pull the lens back at the time, place, and date of your birth, that's when a facet of God, a facet of the divine, a facet of spirit was poured into your earthly body. And you took your breath and your heartbeats and you became one. And then you were thrust into the matrix of reality and told that you are separate from God. And so we believed the lie that there could be a separation from God, from abundance, from all that is. And my friends, that's the game. That's the game of this dimension. And when you know the game, you cannot be played. What are you paying attention to? Have a moment. Have a moment where you receive the truth that we are evolving. We are in the process of the evolution of our human consciousness. We can now conceptualize, understand, and embody divine information that was only ever told through story back in the day. They were folklores, they were tales, they were things that were just unbelievable. Well, and now we're here to remember that we always have the choice of what we believe. So maybe I allow myself to unlearn disbelief and maybe believe that just by having breath and a beating heart, that I can choose to align myself with abundance. I speak from abundance. I give from abundance. I am abundant. We say that at United Life Centers for Spiritual Living here in Oklahoma City. I'd love to see you Sundays at 1 p.m. Project 3810. Anyway, abundance is a state of being. It's a state of consciousness. So what are you paying attention to? Discord? Let's talk about discord. Or dis-ease. Or dissatisfaction. These dis things are very divisive. They're separate. They're very earthly. And you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Let the things be divided. It's only from you when you can approach life from a place of unity, of knowing of who you are and knowing with what it is that you deal with in this matrix. You understand that you are meant to live the life of your dreams. So maybe we bring the lens and the gaze inward. And that's the first step. You know yourself. You pause, you tap the brakes, and realize that you were born into a lack mindset, or you adopted beliefs because of what was going on around you that this, that, or the other is true. And when you think a thought repeatedly, your brain triggers it to create neat little grooves in the neural pathways and turn it into a belief. And you hold to that belief for so long, it gets stored away in your unconscious, subconscious. And until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's a quote by Carl Jung. And it is as true as the day is long. And in this era of collapsing timelines, what is a timeline, my love? Every choice you make is a step in a specific direction. In his heart, man determines his course, right? I think I flipped that. I think it's in his mind. I'm not sure. We should probably play with that. But basically, we can have a thought and an idea, and we can actually take steps that are out of alignment with that idea. But what happens when we stop taking steps? We recognize where we want to be, and we recognize that it's in our stillness. Do we access unlimited anything? If every single thing in this whole wide world is energy, so are your thought forms. And if you're clinging to heavy, dense, divisive, 3D-based thought forms, then that's your consciousness. If you are living in a world of death, then you are death conscious. If you are living in a world or from a world or through a world or the world of unlimited life, of eternal life is living itself through you, things look very, very different. What you pay attention to changes. You very naturally begin to examine your thoughts. A mental diet is important. Maybe fasting on the things that are feeding your mind for a while might offer some clarity. Maybe offload those social media apps. Not this one, not this channel. You know what I'm saying. You are a sovereign being in control of yourself. Are you in control? Or is there something, a situation, a condition, a person, or an obligation that's keeping you from living freely and exhaling fully? Now, before you click away and you write me off as a dreamer, this is a process. This is a process. One doesn't leap into running. We stand. We toddle. We take steps. We fall down. We stand up. We dust ourselves off. And we keep going. And we keep going. And we recognize that that is what life is about. And this lifetime where we all are, evolutionarily speaking, is to where we can actually recognize, remember it without a shred of shame or denial, that we are actually gods and goddesses, that we are creators of our own reality. And where your attention goes, you're flowing energy to that. And I keep saying, anybody who knows me in person knows how much I love where I live right now. And I'll move, but I live in Oklahoma City. And 30 years ago, Oklahoma City, my home, received the largest act of domestic terrorism. It was the bombing, the OKC bombing in 1995. And at that time, all eyes of the globe were on Oklahoma City. And I don't find it coincidental one bit that there is so much truth and life springing out of this portion of the country. In fact, it's popping up everywhere. And I want you to know that all of those seeds of compassion that were focused, where energy goes, where focus goes, where attention goes, right? Energy flows. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transmuted and changed and shifted, alchemized, one might say. So at that time, when it was the largest act of domestic terrorism, all eyes of the world were on Oklahoma City for however long, it doesn't matter. Time is irrelevant. But I do believe all of that energy of compassion poured into this area has a concentration, a distillation of truth. And so I bring it back to you, wherever you are. What are you focusing on? What are you paying attention to? What are you paying for? Are you paying to distract? That's okay. Be aware. Just choose it. Choose it and be free of that choice. Choose to numb and be okay with it. It's far more nourishing for your psyche to be okay with numbing for an hour on the socials than to lose 3 and then beat yourself up for the rest of the night because you don't know where the time went. My love, we're getting rid of time anyway. It's just a measuring stick. I feel like I could go on forever, but we're going to go get subs at Firehouse Subs. My son just got hired on. Sponsor me. Anyway, my son just got hired on. It's Firehouse Subs, and I love me some firefighters. And so it's kind of a cute little synchronicity. Anyway, little detour. All right, that's a nerdy nerd. But today, again, I just want to remind you, what are you paying attention to? Where energy goes, may there be life. Where your focus and your attention and your joy and all of those things sow the seeds of joyful living. Pay attention to the things you love, the people you love. Speak to them. Speak life. Think life. Be life. And then you will receive life. Pressed down, shaken together, abundantly overflowing, pouring over into your lap. May you be pursued by love that knows your name, that breathes your breath, and that beats your heart. I love you. I'll see you later. Bye.